If you have a loan, you must meet Dr. Atul Sawant, who accumulated a total debt of 1.5 crores across multiple loans.
I'm Dr. Atul Sawant. I'm a radiologist. Once I started earning, I thought, oh, finally I've made it. Then started, okay, let's splurge on few things. Why not? My income was hardly like 24,000. The EMI was 12,000. And with the help of credit card, I made sure that nothing was remaining. So that was the time when the debt was at peak. The total debt around 1.5 CR. After that, that was the nail in the coffin actually, because whatever cash flow was there, minimal, it just dried up completely. And then finally I got fed up. Then I realized I think it's really not worth it.
And that's when he decided to take control of his financial situation through proper planning and determination. In this video, we'll explore the step-by-step plan he used to repay his debt and find out whether he succeeded or not. Hi, Dr. Atul. Welcome to Power Up. It's so great to have you. We often talk to, people in the startup and, corporate ecosystems about money, where it's usually more talked about. But then, in professions like doctors, it's so time taking. I think we always wanted to chat with how it is handling money in, professions like doctors. So let's get started right away.
Yeah. For my introduction, I'm Dr. Atul Sawant. I'm a radiologist and I live in Abu Dhabi. And I think especially in the doctor community, we have zero knowledge about finance. So I think it is now high time that such things should be discussed.
Fair. I think on this note, let's start with your background in terms of, your early career and how was your relationship with money, given that, it's not very talked about. How was your relationship with money and how did it evolve with time?
Okay. Initially, it was a bit restricted, like typical middle class family. So once I started earning, I thought, oh, finally I've made it.
Yeah.
So that was the feeling. I made it. So I made it wala feeling ke baad then started, okay, let's splurge on few things. Why not? Initially, I was not very conscious about spending.
Got it. What years are these? Like when did you start your
2000,
career?
I was doing my residency from 2008 to 11.
Okay.
Started. I had a stipend over that time. Actually, I started earning from 2011 onwards.
Okay, that's also in Navi Mumbai?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was based in Navi Mumbai.
Okay. And then 2011, say like you were usually spending. So were you like spending the entire income? How was your budgeting like?
Actually, some of the other EMI was always there.
Okay.
General spending was there, but hardly anything was left behind because most of it was like cut to cut. And with the help of credit card, I made sure that nothing was remaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got it. So you were accumulating debt back then.
Yeah.
So tell us about the key purchases that you made that led to accumulate debt, and how much debt was it like by the end of I think 5-6 years?
See, basically when I was finishing my post graduation 2010-11, my father thought that after my post graduation I will start a diagnostic center. So there was a property. He told that let's buy this. Okay, and then he made the down payment, and then I thought that okay, then I will just keep paying the EMI. My income was hardly like 24,000. The EMI was 12,000. So we did it. After a few years, started practice. Then purchased a car. Then I invested into a startup.
Okay.
And I was working over there as well.
This is what year?
As a partner.
Like how many years into your work?
That was in 2013.
2 years into work.
2 years, yeah.
Okay.
So that was going okay. Then after that in 2015, again I invested in a startup with one of my friends. So whatever money I had accumulated in those 2 years went into that.
Okay.
So again zero. Then in 2016, finally I thought, okay, why not do our own thing? So for that, for starting your own thing, you need to have a practice. You need to have a place. Then for buying that place, I had really nothing in my pocket. Absolutely, very minimal in my pocket. So we had to mortgage a couple of properties.
Oh.
Then took a loan and then purchased the property. So that was the time when the debt was at peak.
Oh, how much was that?
Yeah, the total debt around 1.5 CR.
Wow. Okay. This is in 2015-16.
Yeah, 15-16.
5 years into work.
Yeah. After that, that was the nail in the coffin actually, because whatever cash flow was there, minimal, it just dried up completely. And then finally I got fed up. Then I realized I think it's really not worth it, and why not go to some place where I can earn more and I can hope to prepay these loans quickly. So that was the reason when I decided to shift to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Okay, then as soon as I went to Abu Dhabi with a clear plan of prepaying my loan. Okay, I went there and took a personal loan and tried to pay off the Indian debt. But unfortunately, since I was new, I could get only a certain amount of loan. So the entire loan could not be paid off
Okay.
in India. So now I had a loan in India, partially paid, small amount was remaining. Then a new loan in
Abu
Dhabi, and then I thought in Abu Dhabi, why not purchase a brand new car?
Okay.
So the same cycle was repeating. So after 1 year again, I thought, I think now this is really high time, because now my income has also increased. And if still with this I'm not able to manage, then I'm never going to be able to manage ever.
Right.
I really started reading books. I started reading about debt reduction.
Okay.
I really thought, I think there is something genuinely wrong in my handling of money. Otherwise, this will not happen again and again.
Right.
So that was that point. And after that, I decided consciously that not to overspend. In fact, like, I really made a budget, stuck to it. After that, in a year's time, actually things started to change.
Wow, that's so nice. And I think at this point, what are like the top 3 mistakes that you made, which you would want our audience to not do? I think you have done a couple of them.
Yeah, really. I have done quite a lot. In fact, I can tell you maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, but the top mistake is not understanding what is cash flow. Means it is a very simple concept. Cash flow means what is coming into your pocket and what is going out of your pocket is cash flow, and not keeping a positive cash flow. That was a big blunder, because eventually at the end of the day you have to keep something in your pocket. Otherwise there's really no point. If you are earning 1 lakh or 10 lakh or 100 lakhs, if you are earning and if you're spending everything, like, really it doesn't make any sense on whatever be your income. So if we have to keep a positive cash flow, then only that can be invested for the future. Second blunder was I was like over leveraged. Debt level was 50% or little way above 50% of my income.
Wow.
It was way high, because there was no breathing space at all. In fact, I was drowning. I was drowning in debt. Then third was living way above my means.
Right.
Because we have to eventually live in the means only. That is the key point. Otherwise, the cash flow will be always negative. With the help of credit card, you can obviously live way above your means, right? You can buy things with the money which you don't have. So that point of time, credit card, using credit card was a big blunder. Because that time I didn't have the money. Right now, if I use a credit card, it's okay, because I can pay in full.
Yeah.
If to avoid the mistakes, best thing is the amount of debt we should take ideally should not be more than 20 to 30% of your income. Yeah, and the cash flow component. At the end of the day, whatever profession you're doing, whether you're doing business or whether you're a salaried person, you should have a positive cash flow.
Right.
Because that is the main crux. If there is no cash flow, then there can't be any progress.
Right, fair. And just curious, what's like the most expensive purchase that you've made?
This watch.
How much does this cost?
This was around 1.2 lakhs.
Wow.
Yeah, this is also one of the blunder.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you tell me now go and purchase, I won't buy. Really, because now
and your money mindset has changed now.
I've changed now, and now I think whether it is adding any value to my life. If it is not adding value, really it doesn't make any sense.
No, fair. And you mentioned, right, I think 1 year into Abu Dhabi, it's around 18, 19 is where you sort of made a budget and sort of got on track. What was that process like? Like, how does your budget look? And what was it before and what did it look then?
More rather than the budget, no, there was a process which I followed.
Yeah.
I for debt reduction, I called it the debt snowball method. So in that, suppose if I have 4 debts, I will just write down 4 debts, which is the smallest, then largest, basically in the ascending order. Then I'll keep on paying all the payments, the regular payments, and then if I have some extra cash, I will put all that extra cash into the smallest one, irrespective of the interest rate.
Okay.
So once that is completely finished, now that amount of money will be my positive cash flow. That is the additional cash which I'll have now every month. Because there is no EMI going. Now that additional amount plus whatever amount I had additionally. Suppose if there's an example, if I had 4 debts, one is 50k, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh and 2 lakhs. And the EMI 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 and 12,000. So I will first wind up that 5,000 EMI. I'll try to, if I have some additional 5,000 cash, I'll finish that 5,000 EMI. Once that is done, now I have additional 10,000 in my hand every month. Now that I will put it in the second one, the 7,000 one. So with the help of that, I'll be able to finish it quickly in next 3 to 4 months. So once that is finished, now I have additional 17,000 positive cash flow in my hand.
Right.
That I will use to pay the third loan, which is around 10,000 per month. So that I'll finish in next 3 to 4 months. Now after that, I have 27,000 cash flow in my hand. Then I'll finish the last one, which is 12,000. So after finishing that, I'll have literally 39,000 of positive cash flow.
Right.
Once this is there, no, then progress and then investment and everything can be done. But unless the cash flow is not there, like how am I going to invest? I have changed my basically attitude towards investing. Now I want to get a positive cash flow. How I'll get a positive cash flow? Getting out of debt. Then I decided after that I'll first save for an emergency fund. So that is the time when I also started investing.
Got it. So then, you consolidated through your debt snowball method, and then first you became debt free around 1920, right? Since then, how has your investment strategy been?
Regarding the investment strategy, the first aim was make a good foundation before investing. So what I call as a foundation is having no debt.
Okay.
Means at least except for the home loan, no other debt like car loan or personal loan, something like that. Then having a good emergency fund, having a good medical insurance,
right,
having appropriate term insurance. This is foundation. So I did all this first. Now the ground is set for investing. Then in investing, actually I had read the book called as A Millionaire Next Door. In that book, it said that they had researched a lot of millionaires, and the common data which they found out that most of the millionaires, they were investing around 20% into equity. So it really stuck well with me. So that's why I planned that, okay, I will consistently invest 20% of the income into equity, no matter what.
Okay.
So 20% I started investing. Then after that 20%, whatever cash flow was remaining, then I used to buy other assets.
Okay.
So that other assets will help me generate passive income. So that was the investment strategy. And the vision was absolutely clear that if I continue this investment strategy, so I will always have a 20% equity portfolio, some amount in cash in debt portfolio, and remaining amount will go into real estate. That will help me generate the positive cash flow. So my retirement, I had a clear goal of that these three buckets will help me into my retirement. Whatever amount I need for retirement, suppose if I need 4-5 lakhs per month in retirement at that point of time, so at least I have certain amount coming from my real estate portfolio. Maybe 60% of the amount will come from the real estate portfolio. 10 to 20% of the amount will come as interest from the debt component. And then 10 to 20% will come as a SWP from the equity portfolio.
Okay. Coming to your portfolio, right? I think wanted to understand what's your portfolio, what's the corpus like? And you mentioned it's allocated across real estate, equity and debt, with majority in real estate. So want to understand how do you choose, and is there an advice that you have in real estate investments?
Okay. See, the portfolio presently is we can say high 9-figure or 10 CR plus, and 70% is into real estate, 20% is into equity, 10% is into debt. Regarding the real estate component, there's no formula for choosing, but there's one principle basically which I think everybody should follow, that you should buy the real estate only when you are ready to buy it. It means your foundation is complete.
Okay.
It means you have adequate amount of capital, you have adequate amount of emergency fund, you have a term insurance, you have health insurance, everything is in place. After that only you should think of buying a real estate. So the same real estate can be a blessing or a curse, depends upon at what financial stage you are and how well prepared you are. If you are prepared, real estate is a boon. But if you are not prepared, it is a big blunder, an absolute curse.
Right.
So that is a completely person to person, depends on person to person and his finances, absolutely.
And what typical returns do real estate give, according to you have a portfolio of properties?
See, the real estate returns, everybody knows they are not that great. 3-4%. If you have a real estate in UAE, in Abu Dhabi, you will get a higher rate of return, around 6%. But rate of return is important, no doubt. But after a certain point of time, along with rate of return, peace of mind is also important. See, because if a person has 1 lakh or 10 lakh rupees capital, versus a person has 10 CR capital, versus a person has 100 CR capital, See, the person with the 100 CR capital will really not even bother. For him, preservation of the capital is more important rather than high returns. For a person with a 10 lakh capital, he has to get higher returns. Okay, so everything is relative to your requirement and your capital and your risk appetite.
Understood. And tell us more, I think very few people are able to talk so candidly about, the mistakes they made. And thanks for sharing that. Tell us more on, back then, what was your spending habits like and how has that money mindset changed today?
Yeah, see, spending was, as I said, like I was not very conscious about the budget, conscious about whether I am able to afford it or not. I was not that conscious, honestly. I wanted to enjoy whatever was there, available resources. And see, for me, like when traveling was, I really like to travel. So traveling was one of the expense. But I'm not regretting any of that, definitely. But of course, you have to improve. But at least I understood how much I should spend. So that is the difference now.
Right.
Traveling is still there, but now relatively it's budgeted thing. So now I have, for myself, I have put a concept called fun money.
Okay.
So I look at 10% of my income towards fun money. Suppose the annual budget of 10%. So if in that 10%, if my foreign trip is getting into that 10% bracket, there's no harm in having the trip.
Right.
So that is the concept now, that 10% is allocated completely so that I enjoy my life as well as.
And it's no guilt spend.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely no guilt in that. And also the other thing is that now I invest at any point of time. There's compulsory I invest 20% of my income. That just goes straight away from the account. So previously there was this investment bucket was not there only, because whatever was there was going into EMIs. Nothing was left behind.
Right.
And I didn't wanted to compromise on the lifestyle. So what got compromised was investing. Now, since that strict rule is that a 20% will go irrespective of anything, now if anything is remaining, that can be used as guilt-free spending or as fun money.
Right.
So that has changed completely now.
Fair, makes sense. And Dr. Atul, I think moving to Abu Dhabi is where the pivotal thing happened. Like in your finance journey. Two things here, right? One was the cheaper interest rates, which helped pay back, and then also the entire money mindset. I think also somewhere increase in income would have played a key role. If you could give our audience some perspective on what is the magnitude of income change that happens for a similar job in India versus Middle East. Any tentative, and accordingly I think expenses are also higher. So if you can give some view on that.
You can say easily around 3 times of the Indian income, definitely. That is there.
And that's tax free.
Yeah, that is tax free. So that is definitely
effectively it's more.
That is one key factor, that the income is high, then you are allowed to do a little more mistakes. Since you can cope up. With a smaller income, the chances of making mistakes and recovering back is less. With higher income, that is there. Little cushion is there. So it doesn't matter if your income is very high, and if you keep spending very high, nothing is going to remain. So that eventually that realization has to come at some point of time. The earlier, the better.
Perfect. I think last question to wrap this very, very interesting conversation. I think you've been through a very, roller coaster of a journey, right? From accumulating up to 1.5 CR debt, then being debt free, and now with a 10 CR plus corpus. What's like that, one key advice, one investment strategy that you would have for our audience that they can apply to their lives?
One is that there should be a plan, and a clear plan with a clear goal and clear vision. That is really important. Recently, I have, because of all these mistakes which I made, I started a channel for regarding, I called it Doctor of Finance, and in that I've showed the framework which I follow. I called it a financial fitness plan. So basically the idea of making that is to make a stepwise process. I have made a 4-step process, and I label it as negative stage -1. First is -1 because I was in stage -1 with negative cash flow. I call it at red level. Red is danger. Then second stage is foundation stage. Here we should build a foundation so that later on we can build wealth. The 4 things like getting rid of debt, having an emergency fund, having a good term insurance and medical insurance. Once the foundation is set, now you have a good cash flow. Now you can start the investment. The third stage basically is called as a wealth creation stage. Here I invest 20% of my income. So this is my strategy which I follow. After investing 20% of income, if I have some additional cash flow, then I used to pay off my home loan or any other loan is there, business loan, bigger loans. Because smaller loans I paid off in the earlier stage itself. And once that home loan is also over, then I move to the last, that is stage 4, that is wealth multiplication stage. That I call is at green level. So in that stage now, just imagine, see, 20% you are already investing, you're home loan free. Home loan is usually 20 to 30% of the take home pay. So at the green level, at stage wealth multiplication stage, you have literally 50% of your income remaining. Even thinking of this is gives such a positive feeling. The end goal is for any person should be to reach the green level, the wealth multiplication stage. But obviously you cannot jump. People come into orange, from red they somehow come to orange. Little bit money is there, but then as soon as they come to orange, they will do something like buy a car, buy a house, buy some or the other form of liability, take some loan, personal loan here and there, and then again from orange they will go back to red. So and keep on, the cycle just keeps on repeating, so you have to break it. So that is why the advice would be to do a stepwise plan, follow each step, complete that step or that level, move to the next. Until and unless, don't move to the next level, and do not invest or do not buy property if your foundation is not ready.
Got it. Got it. Perfect. I think perfect note to end this podcast. We learned so much, and I think it's best to learn from someone's mistakes so
Yeah,
that we
really.
don't do them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you so much for sharing those with us.
Yeah.
I had such a great time. Thank you so much.